And that's the
Now-
disappointment when you fuck a guy for over an hour and he just go.
Did anybody recognize you from film in the industry? They did? Okay. Well, I just come and you gotta do what you gotta do.
You are such an advocate. One thing is what I love is I love seeing a lot of the beautiful women that's in the industry as sex advocates.
And I would set up crystals on their body based off of their chakra. And the crystals, what they do is if they sit long enough, they begin to like permeate through the body. They begin to expand through the body and they create a bridge.
I shot with John Q too. You know, John Q, you know, I'm the first big girl, but he did his side, you know, his side. Yeah. But
I would, and I have given my last dime to people. I've given when I should have just watched. And it's not always about giving financially. It's giving your space and your time and your energy.
So that's kind of like a 50-50 answer, what I got. That wasn't really a yes or no answer.
I think I actually would, and this is of course the therapist in me, I would be asking them, like, tell me how this is celibacy for you.
So what's first there, Anna?
I shoot them just like I would be shooting a regular female. So you don't put the emphasis on that, so it makes it more consistent with the title of being transgender woman.
I have a good friend. She lives here in Atlanta. I met her on a porn set. She wrote a book called From Porn to the Pulpit. Now, I won't say she was like this super... Yeah, she's my best friend. She's my best friend. Her name is Danielle Williams McCord. She wrote an amazing book called From Porn to the Pulpit. She's been preaching for 10 years now, but I met her on a porn set.
In any business that you find yourself in. Because definitely for me, like, you know, creating a product to push to the consumer, and for me, everything was consumer driven. If they didn't want it, I'm not gonna make it because I knew it
felt like if we kept our head a little below the sagebrush, that we would just be able to keep on going without any interference or anything like that. But that's
like, dude, I'm sitting in like the dressing room, like just with all the 20-year-olds and 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds. I'm like, how old are you? Oh, I'm 25. I'm like, how old are you? I'm 23. And I'm like, dude, I'm 30.
Before I leave the house, I feel like the last look. You know, this is how I feel, this is what I'm thinking, you know. Now, when I get out and interact with other people, it's going to be what it is.
Right, okay.
Welcome to a podcast like no other. Get ready for insightful conversations, diverse perspectives, and a touch of inspiration. This is Ask Nyomi, Bridging the Gap podcast. Join your host, the dynamic Nyomi Banks, as she delves into the heart of various topics with a refreshing blend of curiosity and wisdom. Each week, tune in as Nyomi is joined by special guests who bring their unique stories and expertise to the table. It's a journey of discovery, learning, and growth. And let's not forget about the one and only dog pound Mike, adding his flavor and flair to the mix. Together, they make a dynamic duo you won't want to miss. From thought-provoking discussions to moments of laughter and joy, Ask Nyomi. Bridging the Gap podcast offers a space where great topics meet amazing guests. So, mark your calendars, set your reminders, and prepare to be entertained and enlightened. Join Nyomi Banks and Dog Pound Mike weekly for an unforgettable podcast experience. Get ready to bridge the gap, expand your horizons, and immerse yourself in the world of Ask Nyomi. Subscribe now and stay tuned for a podcast journey like no other.
Hey, my beautiful people. It's your girl, the Goddess Nyomi Banks here on Ask Nyomi, Bridging the Gap podcast. This is where we talk about love, sex, relationship,
cultural differences, and so much more while bridging the gap between them all and teaching the world on sex, language, attitude, and spiritual uplifting. And today we are diving into a topic that touches many of us deeply, and that's coping with a breakup and finding the strength to move forward. Hey, Dog Pound.
What's happening? What's
What's
happening?
going on?
Oh, it's all good now.
You ready for this topic?
Ooh, I'm back. I'm ready.
You
I'm
ready? We
yeah.
back. You ready? We back. All right, my BTG crew. I see you all there. Thank you. We back. We had a nice little summer break.
Yes, we did.
Let me tell you something. When the kids went on break, I went on break too.
That's how you do it.
I went on break too. Yes, I see you all out there, and I am loving all of you that's out there right now. So what we're going to do is, before we get into the topic, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. And when we're going to come back, we're going to get deep into this conversation, because I know I am not the only one that's had difficulties with coping with a breakup. Have you, Dr. Mike?
No. My breakups be all nice, and I'm
not. We're gonna stop that right there. We're gonna stop it right there. All right. So when we come back, we're gonna talk about this coping with a breakup and how can we move forward. All right. It's your girl, the Goddess Nyomi Banks, here on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, and we'll be right back. What are some common barriers that prevent people from expressing? Hey, it's your girl, the Goddess Nyomi Banks, here from the Season of Self-Love podcast.
Yeah, I would say remorse. So shame and guilt is a very dividing emotional.
And these are one of the many amazing conversations that we have every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Season of Self-Love podcast with myself, Nyomi Banks, as well as our resident therapist, Dr. Will Washington of Washington Wellness Institute. Come by.
The reality of our relationships with people.
Come by.
And a lot of times we're afraid of how people look at us. And so that compassion can't enter.
You can hit us on our website, the Season of Self-Love podcast.com. Let me ask you this, with the truth,
Are you ready to transform your pain into power? Join us this September for the 30-day Healing Beyond Betrayal Challenge, From Hurt to Hope. Starting September 1st, embark on a journey of healing and self-discovery. Each day, you'll receive empowering lessons, practical exercises, and supportive community connections designed to help you overcome the hurt of betrayal and reclaim your joy. Don't let betrayal define your story. It's time to rise, heal, and rebuild a brighter future. Sign up today at theseasonofselflovepodcast.com.
Welcome back. It's your girl, the Goddess Nyomi Banks, here on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. I'm here with Dog Pound Mike. What's going on, baby?
Are you ready to transform your pain into power? Join us this September.
I see you all. Yeah.
Are you ready to
nice little healing going on. That's why he keep hitting that, but I love it. We are back and we are ready to dive into this topic right now. It's coping with the breakup and how can we move forward? Now, breakups can be some of the most challenging experience that we face in life, whether it's the end of a long-term relationship or a more recent connection, but the feelings that come with it can be very overwhelming. But today we are going to explore those emotions together. And I'll be sharing some personal reflections and practical advice to help you to navigate this difficult journey. So recently I received a very heartfelt letter from one of our listeners who is struggling to cope with a breakup. And it's going to be our focal point for today's discussion. So if you've ever felt lost, sad, or even relieved that after a breakup, know that you are not alone. And this episode is just for you. So how I want to start it like this. All right. So today, y'all going to be interactive in these chats versus if you're listening right here on YouTube, on Instagram, on X. I want y'all to be, or Facebook, I want y'all to be interactive because I'm going to have some questions for y'all. Yes, I'm going to get nosy all down deep in your business, okay? All right, because I know we all had breakups. I know Dog Pound Mike said, no, he didn't, but he lied. I know he had some, and I'm going to get all up into his business because I want to know how he was coping through it. You know, I want to know how he got through it. How was he able to move forward? You got to let them other dog pounds out there know.
The dogs know how we do it.
Now I don't want the big barks of roof. I want the little barks. Roof, roof.
Well, I see you here tonight.
Yeah, I sure did. I sure did. I sure did. So this is what I want to do first. I want to break down levels. So y'all know that my breakup is just not one common thing, right? Y'all know there are different levels to this. And if anybody been listening to myself and Dog Pound Mike throughout our whole podcast radio career together, there has been levels to this shit.
All about the levels.
All about the levels, right? So breakups can vary widely in emotions, from intensity to complexities, often categorized in different levels or types, based on factors such as the length of a relationship, the circumstances surrounding the breakup, and the emotional attachment. So what I want to do is I want to break down each one of these levels from 1 to 10. Yes, I said it. Is it 1 to 10 or 1 to 9? But whatever it is, I want y'all, if y'all listening right now, y'all got a pen and a piece of paper over there. You're like, for real, Naomi, you gonna teach us? You gonna teach? Did y'all hear what I said? I'm teaching the world on sex, attitude, and language. That's what it's called, Ask Nyomi for, right? All right, so the very first common level breakup is casual breakup. So do we know what that is? It often occurs in short-term relationships or casual dating series. So that's like maybe 2 weeks, 3 dates, 4 dates. You know, you go on that first date and you feeling each other. Mm-hmm. Now, y'all ain't gave them none. Well, I hope y'all ain't gave them none just yet. All right, so then you go to the second date, second date. We still casual. Hold on, because don't nobody know where nobody live at. I don't think. But see, for this one, this is the emotional impact is a little bit more less intense, right?
Yeah, because you haven't known each other that long.
Right. So I know you had a lot of casual breakups. So let me say in layman's term, that's when you have ghosted someone.
Okay.
How many have you ghosted?
I done ghosted a few, but I done got ghosted some.
All right, our next one is a mutual breakup. That's when both parties agree that the relationship is no longer working and decide to end it together. So relatively, this can be very amicable for both individuals, feelings of sense of relief rather than deep hurt.
Okay.
All right.
That's understandable.
Yeah. Okay. All right. One-sided breakups. Yes, I said one-sided breakups. Now, I've been guilty myself of being the one that's doing the one-sided breakup. Now, I'm gonna be very honest. I've also been on the side of receiving the one-sided breakup. Now, before, I ain't like that, but now I understand. It was a gift. Yeah, it was a gift. It was a gift. For a minute, I thought it was rejection, but then I was like, oh. No, I loved it. Now I understand what it was for.
I see what you mean. After time, you can see that, that shit wasn't gonna work out no way.
No, it wasn't gonna work out.
Okay.
No, I just knew that.
I feel
so I took that one-sided breakup. I understand what it is now. I took the one-sided breakup.
It was saving grace, really.
It was saving grace, not only for me but him. But yes, that's what that was. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The next one is a long-term relationship. All right. A long-term relationship breakup that involves partners who have been together for a significant amount of time. Y'all know what it is, but they had lived together. They share strong commitments, all of those things. And evidently, they have grown separate. They had grown apart. I know a lot of y'all say, well, wouldn't that be something like a mutual, type of, sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. Sometimes one of the parties feel like we have outgrown each other where the other one doesn't feel that way. So it's more complicated and painful due to one, the emotional investment in the shared experience, but also not understanding why. All right, this is a good one because I have been in so many toxic relationship breakups. When shit been thrown at each other, you know what I mean?
I can contest.
Clothes been burned. I ain't burn nobody clothes, but I'm just saying I know some people that don't burn somebody clothes. You know, somebody unscratched up and wrote, you know, something on their cars. Y'all know what I mean? And then you have, and that's just me being funny right there. But then you have those that are more serious that have been in abusive relationships. You know what I'm saying? And so in that, where it's a little bit more, even though that other party might feel liberated by, you know, the breakup, but also there's a sense of trauma and fear that lingers in that emotion. Does that make sense for everybody? All right, the next one is a sudden breakup. All right. This occurs unexpectedly without prior indication that the relationship was in trouble. Can I combine that with a one-sided one? Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But the problem is that if there is no communication, and we talk about communication a lot, if there is no communication within that relationship, somebody's going to be lost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then they won't understand because there has been no communication between that. And so to them, it will be a sudden breakup. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? All right, then a rebound. Okay. So I'm going to ask this question. Rebound. That involves entering a new relationship shortly after a breakup, which may not be stable or healthy. All right. I want my BTG crew that is listening right now.
Come on.
I want y'all to be honest with me. You see, I'll be honest. I'll be telling my shit. I want y'all to be honest with me. Who is guilty of this rebound breakup? Say, give me a hand sign, give me something. Give me something. I want to know. I want to know. I'm going to be patient for one moment. I'm going to ask Dog Pound Mike in a minute. But how many are guilty of the rebound breakup? And I know it's just more than her. Come on, y'all. Stop playing with me. There's too many of y'all out there on all of these streaming things right now. I won't tell nobody.
Forget the millions of people on live. We ain't gonna tell nobody.
Right. I'm not gonna tell nobody. And see, the thing is that when you in this rebound breakup, I am so guilty of this. It often leads to unresolved feeling related to previous relationship type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? All right, the next one is friendship transition. What's that, Naomi? Is that when we were friends and then we know? That's when you were in a relationship and then you say, okay, let's just be friends. That don't work, especially when you first break up. Not for everybody, it does not work. We just seen the biggest blow up ever on social media. If you guys been following Tamar Braxton and her ex-husband, JR, the white guy, they had broke up.
Okay.
But she thought that they were still in a relationship together. He said, no, we were just friends. And they was, well, in her mind that they wasn't. But for him, that is what he said he was. So my thing is this, and I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to be very honest when I say this. I have been guilty of being a friendship transition breakup type of person. And I'm going to tell you what that is. That is when you are manipulating the situation. I'm just going to keep it real.
Now, to break it down in dog pound, is that when y'all were together, y'all break up, but then y'all still screwing?
Yep.
But we just friends.
Yep.
But every now and again, we hook up.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's about not even on the boundary, but we're going to come to that a little later. All right, the next one is divorce and separation. Damn, I've been through this one too.
You done hit them all.
And that's why I can sit here and talk about it, because I have been through most of these common ones.
Yes, yeah.
And I like what you said, Charmaine. Yes, friends with benefits. Yes. Now I'm gonna tell you the flip side of that, because I know you said, well, Naomi, you can't be friends, or I can't be friends with somebody who I dated. It's the strong one. And I'm gonna say this, why I say this is because in some cases, depending on what the relationship is, you can't. And it's like you have to be honest with yourself. But then in other cases, you can. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, how you know? Because we're not close, but we're still friends that we dated. We had a relationship for a good year or two, and now we're friends and we've been friends. But he can't get no more nookie from me. You understand what I'm saying? We're that doesn't, now we're just friends. Period.
It's a comment up here. I just want to read to you real quick. Brown Skin Queen 20. It says it depends on if the feeling is mutual, and everybody needs to set boundaries when entering a relationship.
Yes, exactly.
Especially with that one.
Yes.
If y'all say y'all just friends, if you set these boundaries, but you're right, both people got to agree to.
Right, and that person, there can be no manipulation in it. There has to be nothing but truth in this.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that has to come from the respect of the friendship and what that friendship means to you. You understand what I'm saying? All right, the next is the closure breakup. The closure breakup. This is the last one. This is where the partners are in an open discussion and they reach a mutual understanding to seek closure before ending things. So though often it's still painful, this approach can provide a more healthier ending and it can facilitate a better healing process. All right, so understanding all these levels, it can help individuals to navigate their feelings and find a more appropriate way to cope, heal, and eventually move forward. Now my BTG crew, now that y'all heard all the levels, right, of the breakups, I'm going to share a story, a letter that a listener wrote to me, all right? And I want you to listen to this letter, but I also want you to tell me what level of breakup that this person had, all right? All right? All right, so here's the letter. Dear Nyomi, I hope that this letter finds you well. I am writing to you because I recently went through a heartbreaking breakup. And to be completely honest, I feel like I am unraveling. This relationship was incredibly significant to me. It felt like I had finally found the person that I can fully trust and build a future with. But however, things ended abruptly. And I was left feeling not only blindsided, but deeply hurt and abandoned. You see, the aftermath of the breakup has been challenging. I find myself replaying moments in my mind, questioning what went wrong and wondering if I could have done anything differently. You see, it's hard to move forward when I feel like there are still so many unresolved emotions and unanswered questions. I wake up with a very overwhelming sense of loneliness, and there are days when the weight of it all feels unbearable. Sometimes I feel angry, other times just completely numb. So I know that healing from a breakup is a process, but right now I am struggling to even understand where to begin. You see, the pain of losing someone I care so deeply about feels unbearable. There's also a part of me that worries whether I'll be able to find love again, or is this heartbreak that will leave lasting scars that make me hesitant to open up in the future. So I am reaching out because I know I need help. I want to learn how to cope with this pain in a healthy way without letting it consume me. And I also want to work on healing, not just from this relationship, but from any past emotional wounds that may have contributed to where I am now. Ultimately, I want to move forward with hope and optimism, and love is still out there for me. And even if it doesn't feel that way right now, any advice, guidance, or words of wisdom you can offer during this challenging time will be greatly appreciated. And I am ready to start the journey towards healing, even though it feels daunting. Thank you for taking the time to read my letters. Thank you, Ryan.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a deep.
Yeah, it's a deep one. Well, first I want to say thank you, Ryan. Thank you for being so patient. Thank you for being so patient that I'm just answering the email now. He wrote this to me in the beginning of with the end of last season. But thank you for sharing your story with us and writing in. So I want to ask you, my listeners, which level did Ryan experience, and how many of you experienced this level type breakup? Let me know in the chats. I'm gonna wait for a moment. Just a moment. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for a moment.
Wow.
Yeah, before I answer her back, I'm gonna wait for a moment. All right, Jamar. All right. I'm gonna wait for a moment. All right, so let me say this. So I have something to share with him, but also I want to say this before I get into, because I've already written him back on one thing, but I want to share this with you listeners, and also Ryan, if you're listening right here today. First of all, look at this as a gift. And I know you don't, Naomi, how can I look at it as a gift? And it just, the relationship just ended, and I don't know why it ended. Baby, honestly, take it as a gift. It's not about you. And I know it's truly hard to understand that, because you're thinking, how is it not about me? Because it happened to me. No, baby, it happened for you. Not to you, but it happened for you. Honestly, it has nothing to do with you. It's more about that other person on why they left the relationship. It has nothing to do with you. Now, I don't know exactly, is there anything else behind everything that you wrote, but it has nothing to do with you. And I'm going to be very honest. It took me a long time to even understand that myself. That even interacting with individuals and things, that I can never take it personal. This is a part of the book that I always talk about, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And in one of his agreements, and I believe it's agreement number 2, about don't take anything personally. Don't take anything personally. When we meet somebody for the first time, I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. And a lot of times we meet people on the place of where they're at that time. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And to be very honest, we live in a world of broken people. Probably 99.9% of us, and yes, I am putting that out there like that, we are broken. No matter if you're rich, poor, white, black, green, or whatever, we all are broken. And the thing is that we're trying to find love. We're trying to find a relationship. We're trying to find a commitment or something in someone else that is broken to help fill our brokenness. But how can we do that? You understand what I'm saying? Period. Now I'm about to go on to somewhere else, but I'm not. I'm going to bring myself back. I'm not going to go through that rabbit hole. That's somewhere else. But what I'm saying to you, Ryan, and first of all, I want you to know, don't take it personal. If anything, it's a gift. So throughout the time that you spent in that relationship with that person, whether it's a he or she, what did I learn from that relationship? What did I learn from that relationship? Because sometimes we be in relationships that we outlive its season. And then that's when it becomes toxic. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That's when it becomes toxic. And then from there, then there's everything else that folds. Then when it becomes toxic, and then people start stepping out on the relationship. And then there is a sense of betrayal that comes. You understand what I'm saying? So that gift, that was a gift to you, baby. It wasn't nothing that you did particularly to that person. That was just that person. No one's fault. It was just that person. The only thing that I say that could have happened, and I hate to be shoulda, woulda, coulda, is that it should have been better communication skills with the breakup. But if anything, say, you know what, thank you. Thank you for loving me in that moment of that time. Whatever. Thank you for showing me what I needed then. Thank you. Thank you. But Naomi, that's not easy. No, it's not easy. But I want you to think of that perspective first. When you can take yourself out of it and say, you know what, wait a minute, this is not even about me. But I can be mad about it for a moment. Yeah, you can. You could be mad. But now I'm going to tell you the steps on how to cope with this. I'm gonna let you know how to cope with this. Step by step. All right, so our first one is acknowledging your feelings. Acknowledging your feelings. How can I acknowledge my feelings, Nyomi? You have to allow yourself to grieve. Yes, my dog pounds. Y'all be grieving, but I'm not talking about grieving and go on social media and write it all out there. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is recognize that what you are feeling is normal, is shocked, is sad, is even angry. But give yourself permission to experience these emotions without judgment. Journal it, write it down, write a rap, do something. Keep the rap to yourself. I shared this with my Season of Stuff Love podcast. I had several different journals. And I write a lot of things down. I write a lot of things down because that helped me with my healing process. To be very honest, because sometimes my words will not be impeccable to someone. So I'm able to read them. I write them down on a piece of paper. That's a part of the 4 agreements. Use your words impeccably. And I know when I'm hurt or I'm mad at somebody, I write it down on a piece of paper. So then I can see my feelings out there. I can see my feelings on the paper. And then I'm able to process it more clearly from there. The next step is reach out for support. All right, so now this one is tricky because you got to be very careful on who you talk to. You can't talk to everybody. Every one of your friends is not your friends that will go down and take your secret with you, and neither are family members. So you have to be very careful on who you share this information with. And you want to make sure that you are sharing with the hurt that's happening with you with somebody who cares about your feelings, who cares about your heart, and that are equipped to be an emotional support for you. And if you can't find that within your immediate circle, then get professional help. Get professional help. If the emotions feel so overwhelming, speaking to a therapist may help you to process your feelings and gain perspective. That's one of my services. I got Dr. Will on speed dial. I got several more doctors that's on speed dial. I can send you their information. Just be very careful on who you choose to share your hurt with. Y'all hear what I said? Be very careful on who you choose to share your hurt with. The next one, establish boundaries. Limit your contact with your ex. Take a break from communicating with them altogether. Give yourself time to heal, space to heal. I think we talked about this with the becoming friends. Mm-hmm. That's where you get into. Let me tell you something. With that, I had 2 babies after that. I went back around the block. But the one is, I have my babies though. That's the gift that I have through this all. But what I'm telling you is that you go around the block when you don't set those boundaries. And not only the boundaries for them, but the boundaries for yourself. You know, like when you going out with your girls to the club and, you getting a little itch at the end of the night. Y'all know what I'm talking about, that itch. Y'all know that itch? Like, wait. You've had that itch after you went out to the club, you had something to drink, you dancing and stuff like that. You're a little horny, you in the car on your way home, and you be like, dang, like, I need something. You don't want to go get no randoms, right?
Well, I ain't had the itch, but I have relieved some who had the itch. They were just itching.
Right. But you just don't want that. Right. And so what you do, you was like, let me see, I want that familiar. I want that something that gonna make me at least feel familiar. But anything, he was good at that, or she was good at that. So I'm gonna go back there. No, damn well you shouldn't be going back there, but you go back there. And then what that does, that confuses the whole breakup.
The whole situation.
The whole situation. the whole situation. And the next thing, Ryan, is to practice self-care. I promise you, man, you got to start taking care of yourself. Engage in regular exercise, maintain a healthy diet, prioritize your sleep. Physical well-being can influence emotional recovery. But also what it does, it helps clear your mind. It will clear you from a lot of that toxic thinking that you were doing before. It gives you a certain different vision when you are doing those things to better yourself health-wise. You know what I mean? Rediscover new. I don't know exactly what you do. Write, read, dance, sing, hike, whatever it is that you do, Ryan, do that. Spend time in building who you are, so then you be ready for that next person that you have a relationship with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
But also process the experience. Reflect on the relationship. What did you learn from that? What did you learn that about yourself? What did you learn about that relationship with other people? How did you show up in that relationship? Was that truly who you were? Or were you being a representative in that relationship just because you wanted to be in that relationship? You know what I'm saying? So even that abruptly thing, that could have been like that person said, look, I can't go through this no more. I can't continue to be a representative in this relationship. So I got to go. And can we be very honest? Sometimes people don't even have the dialogue or the language to be able to give an answer to why that relationship stopped. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So for you, you go through your relationship and, like I said, journal, write it down. It's like, damn, what that do? And you even said you go back and you replay stuff in your head. There go your answers right there. A lot of times we be so focused on making sure we are that representative for that person in that relationship that we miss all the answers. We miss all the signs. We miss all the flags. Because in that relationship, we're not even showing up as ourselves. And possibly not even that person. The next one is create your personal goals. Think about what you want to achieve moving forward. Now that you've learned from this relationship, okay, how am I going to apply it moving forward? How am I going to make it mine, or how I'm going to do with it moving forward, not only for myself, but how I will treat and establish anew with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Set goals to redirect your focus. Maybe focus on yourself. This is something we talk about a lot in the Season of Self-Love podcast. Is before we get into another relationship, let's check ourselves. Let's figure out, how did we attract this? How did we attract this? This is where we have to take accountability. How did I attract this? What in me that I need to do so I won't attract this bullshit no more? So that I can find somebody who will love me unconditionally, will love me like I love me. The next one is allow time. Allow time to heal. Don't do the rebound breakup. Don't do that. Be patient with yourself. This is the time that you need to learn who you are. And even in the process of your healing, this will show you who you are. First of all, you took the first step. Ryan is writing in. I apologize that it took me so long to come back with you with it, because I was on a little hiatus vacation, but I'm back. But I hope, if anything, that you've able to, from the letter that I wrote you, and even through this podcast right here, this episode, that you're able to take some things from this. And that's whoever else is listening that's going through some things. You know, right now on the season of self-love, we're doing a whole series called Healing Beyond Betrayal. And it's an amazing, amazing series. And I had a credible guest on yesterday that I had, Melissa Van Muser. And her story actually led her to become a betrayal trauma coach. Yes. I mean, she became she's a great speaker. She used to work with Tony Robbins. I think that's his name. Yeah. And if anybody know who Tony Robbins is, this white man makes money. And I mean, when she speaks in front of thousands of people about the very thing about betrayal. And she shares her story with them. So she has made her pain into power and purpose. So that's when she allowed herself to heal and she was able to move forward. But they're over there at the season of stuff. That's what we're talking about. And even you saw the little commercial, heard the little commercial earlier today about we're doing a 30-day challenge. Actually, today, one of the challenges with day 5 is to write a forgiveness letter to yourself or to the one who betrayed you. Very, very, when I say writing that letter, I wrote that letter to myself probably about 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I remember this is when I first left the industry. This is when I retired. I remember going into my closet, writing this letter, writing a list of people that I was looking to forgive and a list of people who I was looking for forgiveness from. And I called those people, asking for their forgiveness for whatever reason. And then I wrote the letter to myself and I kept this letter. I still have that letter to this day. It's just packed up away in storage. But I remember for years, I used to read this letter over and over to myself because I knew I had to keep forgiving myself for the things that I've done to myself. And so I've been allowing myself to heal. Yeah. The next one is to explore new connections. You have to meet new people. Once you are ready, consider expanding your social circle. Joining clubs of people with like-minded, classes that interest you. Stay open to future relationships. So when you feel emotionally ready, remind yourself that a new relationship can bring new happiness and opportunities. And you say, Naomi, how long would that take? It's up to you. But you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be real with yourself. You got to stand your ass in the mirror and look at yourself. All right, so this is what I want to do. I want to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about personal reflection. And then we're going to open up the streamline for anybody to come on because I got some questions for you, all right? It's your girl, the goddess, Naomi Banks, here on Ask Nyomi, Bridging the Gap podcast. We will be right back.
Are you ready to transform your pain into power? Join us this September for the 30-day Healing Beyond Betrayal Challenge, From Hurt to Hope. Starting September 1st, embark on a journey of healing and self-discovery. Each day, you'll receive empowering lessons, practical exercises, and supportive community connections designed to help you overcome the hurt of betrayal and reclaim your joy. Don't let betrayal define your story. It's time to rise, heal, and rebuild a brighter future. Sign up today at theseasonofselflovepodcast.com.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
All right, well, welcome back. It's your girl, the Goddess Nami Banks here on Ask Nyomi, Bridging the Gap podcast. And today we're talking about coping with a breakup and how
Washington Wellness Institute
forward and how can I move forward with it. All right, so, you know, before I gave you the breakdown of everything, but on this one, I want to do a personal reflection. You said breakups are never easy because I remember the first breakup. I remember the first time that I went through a significant breakup and it felt like the ground beneath me, like it broke. Man, let me tell you. When I say I went through a thing, I think I was 19 years old. Yeah, I was 19 going on 20. I just had my first baby. Yes. And with this person, I thought that we were going to be together forever. I really did. This was a high school sweetheart. We had broken up my senior year in high school. He was a year older than me. We had broke up. I went on to college, came back around. You know, you're not supposed to go around them blocks. I came back around to that block. Then we got together. We were going to be married. Had a beautiful engagement ring, everything. And then he broke my heart. And I thought it was the end of the world. Because now I was a 19-year-old single mother with a broken engagement, gone. So I said, Naomi, how did you go through? How did you get through it? With a rebound relationship. When I say that I went through a lot of those things, the first 15, 20 years from 19 to probably 32. 32, really, I went through it. But then by the time I was 32, 33, after my first divorce, I kind of got it together and I knew going into the next relationship that I was going into, I knew that I had to come in there differently. I knew that I couldn't bring the baggage from before. And also I knew that I had to get myself together, at least start to understand and get myself together. Before I didn't know that. Before I didn't understand that, but now I do now. Now I do now. You see, but breakups, they can also bring a strange sense of relief. And it did. Now I look at it as a gift, especially if the relationship wasn't healthy, and it wasn't. You see, the emotional roller coaster, one moment you're heartbroken, and the next you feel a weight lifted off your shoulders. And it's completely normal. And it's a part of the healing process. So the letter that I read to you before, it had reflected on his emotions. They were so vivid. He wrote about feeling lost, unsure, and how to move on. And that's something so many of us can relate to. It's a reminder that healing takes time, and it's okay to feel everything that you feel right now. There's not a right or wrong way to go through this. It's not. So let's talk about healing. Real fast. The healing process. It's important to recognize the breakup often involves the stages of grief, denial, and anger, bargaining, depression, and finally the acceptance. So, when I went down and I told you all of those different steps, was it 1 through 9 or 1 through 10? Those are all of those different steps and stages that we had to go through. And the thing is, you won't experience them in a linear order like this. It won't come like that. It will come in different stages. And the thing is, remember, healing is not like this. It's like this. Where rocks and throwing at you, so you got to, bob and weave out of it. So you got to understand what those expected turns, those unexpected turns are. And that's when you have to go start your healing process. Recognize what that is. Recognize what you feel and why you feel it. But also remember what I said. Don't take it personal, because honestly, it's not about you. Go pick up that book, The 4 Agreements. I'm telling you, it will help you with your communication skills and your relationships with others. Whether it be a lover, a parent, a sibling, or whoever, it will be so much better. I've read this book several times. Probably will read it again next week. I read it at least 3 or 4 times a year. 3 or 4 times a year. So how do we cope with the breakup in a healthy way? I already told you. Cry if you got to. Allow yourself to feel those emotions. Make sure you're able to journal it. Talk to someone that you trust. Moving forward through requires a focus on self-love and self-care. We talked about that. And this is time to prioritize yourself with your happiness, your growth, positivity. Start positive routines. Meditation, I do that a lot. Long walks. Just enjoy yourself. Building a great support system. Building a great support system. All right, so now that I've talked and I told you all of those things, now again, I want to open it up for people to talk. So let me say this, because I know it's been a while since we've been on here, and I really hope that when you come on here, be very respectful. Be very respectful when you come on. Man, please do. Please do. Please come on respectful. All right, Darryl, Mike, bring them on.
Okay, here we go.
All right, hello, James.
Hey, how are you, Miss Naomi?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm good. It's been a long time since I've been in your stream. It's been a very long time. The last time I was in your stream, it was when you had Jada on there, and I was the first caller doing that stream.
Nice. Well, welcome back.
So I want to share with you and the viewers over on the YouTube side my story. So I was engaged. We're in 2024. So I was engaged in 2017, and I met this beautiful woman. Lives in my area, in the Washington D.C. area. We met on our first meet and greet on Inauguration Day when Donald Trump got into office, and we were talking through a dating app for roughly 4 or 5 months before we agreed to meet.
Okay.
And fast forward, we started dating, got serious. I proposed to her the week before Thanksgiving. And
wait, this after 4 months of talking?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. It was within year 1.
Okay.
So it was within year 1. But things were taking a turn for the worse in terms of the respect level she was giving me. And that's where the betrayal aspect, I felt betrayed because I'm giving you respect. I'm spending a lot of time with you when you live over an hour away commute-wise, which wasn't really a big deal to me because I was making an effort. It was all about being consistent, building a strong relationship and foundation for the engagement to lead to the marriage.
Right.
With all the disrespect, I just had enough. And I told her, I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me. I'm calling off the engagement. I want everything back. And she brought it back. Then we had a reconciliation luncheon in a neutral location. And we agreed to be friends for a moment, but then she tried to dictate how the friendship would work. And I told her, if I have a problem with who you're dating, I'm going to say something. I have that right. You cannot shackle me or sanction what I feel about who you're dating because it's a matter of respect. If I feel this guy is not treating you right, or I feel like you're giving too much energy to this person and not reciprocating it, I have a right to say something. I can't just sit back. So she was like, no, you don't have that right. I said, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm done. But I'm reflecting on it so much because I invested so much time into it because we had a designated wedding scheduled to go to the Santa Resort. But my stages, I had anxiety attacks. I was in the hospital twice. Had gained weight, lost weight. I was on the verge of suicide. And I checked myself into the emergency room.
Mm.
And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give this aftermath the energy is craving from this negative energy is craving for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to find and rediscover who I am. I'm going to re-love myself all over again.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing. I've been doing podcasts talking about mental health. I became a mental health advocate.
Nice.
I've joined a photography group. I've taken photography, refound my love in photography. I became an ordained minister in the process of that as well. So I've found ways to channel the positivity of who I am and what I can give back from what I felt was taken away from me. So I encourage people to just rediscover who you are, rediscover your purpose, rediscover what makes you you. You know, don't be afraid to be vulnerable, but also take your time in being vulnerable.
Right.
Always establish your boundaries.
Right. So let me ask you this, James, because I heard a few things that you said in relationship, and I saw a few common things that you did by trying to become friends after the breakup. That was one. But also you said that it was a lack of it was a disrespect on her part that kept showing up for you. Do you mind sharing what that disrespect was? And my second question is, why did you continue to allow the disrespect, thinking that it was going to change?
Well, okay, I didn't notice it as far as the verbal action until it became more apparent. What I mean by that is, she would say something, and I didn't like, what did you say? And then she would mutter what she said, so I wouldn't hear her repeat it. So I said, okay. So I started taking notes. I literally went in another room, wrote it down, put it back in my duffel bag. So if we had a conversation later on about something, I can refer back to how you made me feel. And it got to the point with just so many things that was just piling up. It was like there was so many negative things. And I was like, okay, she doesn't respect me for the person I am. I don't have what she has, meaning we both attended college. I'm finishing. She has a bachelor's and a master's. We both will work in the same professional industry of information technology, but we don't do the same level of work. But I know more than she does, but she tries to say, no, you don't. I said, okay, I'm going to let that go. We're not going to go back and forth about that. And it became, you know, I don't need you type of attitude, but I have you. I have you for convenience. And when I start seeing it by her actions, that's why I knew there'll never be any appreciation or respect. No matter what I do, what I show her of the man that I am, I'll never have the thing that matters to me the most. You can love me, but do you respect me? And then, what was your second question you were asking me?
I forgot my second question. I forgot my second question. I guess why you kept allowing it to happen.
Okay,
That's my second.
I didn't see it. I didn't see the red flag.
Right.
I think I was too consumed. It wasn't that I wanted to be loved by her, and you know how people get engaged. They're like, I want this person to love me because of past experiences in previous relationships. No, because before I got into that relationship, I had been single for 6 years. I casually dated. I mean, casually dated, casual sexual activities or anything. I mean, I just occasional meet and greet, and then if I felt something, maybe another actual real date, but nothing beyond that. It was never a connection where I wanted to invest in. So that's why I just focused on me during those 6 years before I found her through a dating app. And then from there, I just took a chance. That's all you can do is just take a chance based on connection, based on similar interests. And, you know, I thought it was genuine. It was in the beginning, but she showed me she took off her mask, her facade mask, if you will, and showed me her true hand, her true face. And I was like, we could have gone to counseling, we could have worked on it, but we can't work on respect. Either you're going to give it or you're not. But all the other things could have been worked on.
Right. So let me go to your why go back around the block to try to be her friend, but then to I'm just saying what I heard. Then dictate to her who she is to date.
Okay, so with the friendship aspect wasn't going back around the block per se. This was shortly after the breakup. She and I came to a mutual communication. She wanted to at least try on a friendship because she felt I was never a friend to her as being her significant or her lover, her better half. But I felt I was because I knew things about you. The only thing was you weren't communicating with me the things you said you wanted to communicate. I can't control that. I can't make you trust me to communicate things that you want to communicate with. When I try to communicate with you about my childhood and traumas and things of that nature, you brushed it off. So I kept it in. So when you found out through family members some of the things that I experienced, you became shocked. And I told her privately, driving back from being around family, these are the things that I wanted to share with you. But you didn't want to listen when I wanted to tell you. So again, this is a matter of respect. The whole going around the block, people ask me all the time, if she called me, would I pick up the phone? No. If I saw her out in public, would I speak? That's if we made eye contact. I'm not just going to go up to her, oh, hey. No, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
But we made eye contact. I'm going to acknowledge her and speak.
I'm gonna hold on to this thought right now. I'm gonna go to Dog Pound Mike because I see him rocking a little bit behind the mic. Is there something you want to say to James before I get back on?
I was kind of off of what you just said about once they had broken up, and you just because once that breakup is there, and you and from the way you say, and the breakup was there, you knew she didn't respect you. I mean, that is one of the biggest things about a relationship is respect. So once that respect was gone, to me, in a sense, the friendship would have been gone as well. So what each of y'all do after that point is each of y'all business, because like you said, y'all didn't get married. I don't think there was no kids together. So that breakup could have been just, we going our ways. It didn't work.
Right.
Instead of you still being involved and being, in her life in any kind of way.
Right. I want to ask you this question, and I said this before about what did you learn from that relationship? Because I heard you say that going in, you hadn't been in a serious relationship for 6 years, right? And I guess my question is for you, during that 6 years that you was not in a relationship, what did you learn about yourself? What work did you do on yourself? And I'm gonna be very honest when I say this, it wasn't that much of work that you did do, because this is something that you attracted from somebody else, because the respect that you were looking for in her was that respect that you was trying to give to yourself, that you was looking for through others. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And so before was I was just living, if you will. I was just not living day to day, if you will, but I was just living. I was just doing my normal routine, going to work and being around family, enjoying my family, enjoying, the growth of myself and appreciating what I had.
Right.
But and I was like, maybe I am ready, because that breakup was betrayal. That person, before the person I got engaged to, we lived together, we cohabited. She was young. She is younger than me. She's younger than me by 11 years. The previous person before the fiance. The fiance is only younger than me by a month. I am 7 months older than her. The previous person, doing that 6 years exile, if you will, or I just learned to. My takeaway from it was extend my own self worth, extend who I am as a person and the person I'm going to become. Because I can't change who I am. I can only grow and adapt and expand, but I can't necessarily physically change the person I've become as an adult. I can grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually within myself. I can learn different things to love about myself. Those are the things that I did within those 6 years. From 2018 to where we are now, another 6 years removed, I've learned about self-gratitude, being humble. It humbled me that I was able to walk away. It humbled me to know I'm worth more to myself first than I am to someone else, no matter what. Those are the things, those are the most critical things I learned about myself since then. And like I said in the chat box, I see two virtual therapists. Excuse me. One is my emergency one, and also have a peer coach as well that I speak to from time to time just to check in, let them know what's going on, and it helps. They're proud of me. They're proud of everything I've overcome from the anxieties and depression. I'm gonna be very transparent, very open about something. It's not. It reflects me, but it doesn't impact me directly. Okay. My sister is she's a two-time divorcee. She's been married twice, and she's recently got divorced. The second divorce was much harder than the first divorce. But it hurt me, and temporarily I was angry at my sister because like you eloped, you eloped in Las Vegas, and you told us after the fact, and we had to accept that you were married. And I told her that in the aftermath. I said I can't let you do that to me anymore. You have to be open with me if you expect me to be open with you.
And this is your sister.
This is my biological sister. I told
your biological sister.
We butted heads. I told my sister in a moment that I hated her, and I really meant it. I really hated her as a person for the things she had been doing to me, trying to connect with me through her sorrow, through her emotional trauma. I didn't want to be around her because I thought she was suffocating me to compensate what she was feeling.
James, you read that book before because that ain't had nothing to do with her going to elope. Nothing. I mean, I'm just saying, like, none of that. It really, when I'm sitting here looking at it, it's like I'm trying to remove the judgment and everything because it seemed like you really want to have it all together. One thing is that I applaud you for even going to seek therapy to help you through and even using your hurt and your pain as a part of your purpose too. You understand what I'm saying? But when I hear you say a lot of things, you taking on things that's not of you, her going to elope in a relationship, that's her relationship. Yes, your brother, whether you big brother, little brother, whatever, that has nothing to do with you. That is her thing. You understand what I'm saying? So when you say what she did to me, I'm like, wait, hold on. Where is that coming from? So now you have to check yourself, like, hold on, why I keep making everything about me? Why? Even in the breakup that you had with old girl, it wasn't even about you. It was about what she wanted and what she needed for her. Ain't got nothing to do with you. So if anything, what you should say, you know what, thank you for that. That's why I asked you, what did you learn from that? What did you learn from that relationship? Within that relationship that you in, and I'm saying this because in every relationship that I had that was positive or negative, I have to take accountability for my action, whether I was right or wrong in the situation, because there is no right or wrong. There's an understanding that we both have to have mutually to understand that we were only in this relationship for a season or for a lifetime. What did I learn from this relationship with that person, whether it was a friend, a lover, or a family member? That's with you as you being a man and want to move forward. And this is for a woman too. want to move forward in another relationship with anybody is that I got to go check myself. That means I got to understand what I am worthy of, not looking at being of an arrogance, but also being humble, as you say. But also being humble is not making her going to get eloping and nobody knew personal. That's what we do as family members. We be all up in folks' business that we don't need to be. When that person need us, we just got to make sure that we okay to be there. All right. But let me say this because we got some other people that's coming up. But I thank you, James, and I thank you for sharing it and coming on with me once again and just sharing your story. So I send you nothing but love and light always. All right, baby?
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you. All right, guys. It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. That was, thank you, James, for that, because he went through a lot of common things within that conversation that we had. So he kind of hit, a whole lot of things there. Hit a whole lot of things. Ooh, yeah, that was something. That was something. But thank you for that was something. That was truly something. All right, we got one more because we done went over the time.
Yes, we do. Here we go.
All right. Hey, Renewal Pulse. You gotta take them off. How you doing?
Good. I don't know if my mic's muted.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. I'm doing well. I didn't know if you wanted to ask a question or if I could just say my experience with a recent breakup.
Your experience. I think we kind of got off of the question. So go ahead and share your experience.
Right. Sure. So 2 years ago, I got engaged 5 years ago, and after about 2.5 years to 3 years, we mutually decided to end the engagement, but it's turned into just a pause because we have since gotten back together. But that breakup was so important for both of us to just restart and to say, well, the whole relationship wasn't anybody's fault that it fell apart. There was a lot of outside things that were happening that we weren't in control of. And part of that was the pandemic, and part of that was living in a foreign country and just all the stress. Mm-hmm. But when that breakup happened, I was never willing to do that step. She broke up with me, said we needed to do it, and I agreed. And then from there, that's when a few months later, I started my self-help journey, self-love journey with your program, with this podcast and everything else involved. And in the 1.5 years through that, mm-hmm. That's been so rewarding to me, and that I had somebody who respected me and loved me enough to say, you need to work on yourself for the rest of your life. We don't need to worry about being together. We both need to worry about each other because we don't know if we're going to be together.
Right.
So that's just one side of a breakup there's a blessing in there, and maybe you get back together, but either way, even if we didn't get back together, we both took a step towards healing.
Yeah. Which is one of the most important things, as I mentioned before, majority of us, 99.9% of us are broken, from abandonment, whatever it is that our life, I don't care if you're rich or you poor, we all somewhere, somehow. And it's just finding a healing within ourselves, but also self-love. When people say, Naomi, you talk about self-love a lot. Yes, I talk about self-love and falling in love with yourself, because you got to know and you got to embrace every bit of you before you're able to get in a relationship with anybody else. Mm-hmm. Seriously, we're out here having babies, loving on people from broken homes. And people think broken homes is because you're poor or you come from an abusive relationship. Abuse come in all forms. Abuse come in all forms. All forms. And we tend to take that and put it on. We're creating other relationships and bonds off of crack and broken foundations and bringing in babies that's going out there and doing the same thing to other people. So now we just got a whole little thing that's going around in circles with a whole bunch of hurt people. We see it every day on social media. You know, somebody got a positive post and then you got somebody trolling negativity. Why come on that post and troll negative over something that's positive that could be uplifting to somebody else? But this is what we do when we don't know how to love ourselves. So when we speak about self-love, people don't really understand what that is. And I thank you because I know exactly who you are. You know what I'm saying? You and I spoke quite a few times, you know, on things. And I'm glad that you were able to say, hold on, let us take a break and let us work on us before we damage each other even more. See, that's another thing. We go into relationship already damaged, but then we damage the other person even more. And we get damaged even more. That's just on the real.
Yep.
It's truly on the real. You know, I hate this because I really want to go longer on this. And but my producer over here, like, wrap it up. Like, wrap it up. But I want to thank you. Can I say your real name, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, seriously, I want to thank you for, you know, because you're a part of the Healing Beyond Betrayal challenge too. And I hope that you're enjoying that. I read one of your posts in there and you're going to get through it. I mean, when I tell you it's been beneficial, it really has. It really has. And I know you are a writer yourself and just all of the work and things that you've done. I am so excited to see what you're going to do with all of that. I really am.
Thank you. I
really
appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. All right, guys. It's your girl, D Goddess Nyomi Banks here on Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. The comeback was real today, and I'm loving every bit of it. I'm loving every bit. I love that all of the live listeners, the BTG crew. I thank you so much. And I see the young man that's on here right now. I am sorry we are not going to be able to get to you today, but you can always email me at info@asknyomi.com if you have any, you know, questions or whatever that I can answer. I most definitely can answer them. I will. Just come respectfully with it. I ain't doing no more split it up, legs over the back. I ain't doing that no more. I'll just give it a real. But again, I love every single one of you. I see my BTG crew out there and I'm loving it. Again, James, thank you for coming in and sharing your story. Just all of it. Yes, nothing but love, and I love it. Matt as well. Thank you. Thank you to all. I see all of you there. Next week we got a guest that's coming in. Yes. This season, when I tell you we got a lot of stuff in store for you guys, I am so excited. That 3-month break, I'm not taking that 3-month break like that no more. Because I miss you guys. And also, let me tell y'all this. You guys, come join us over there at the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm there every day, Monday through Friday. A lot of the most of the episodes are pre-recorded, but you will get so much information in that would truly help you. It really would. It really would. I actually got an ebook right now. It's Healing Beyond Betrayal. It's 55 pages of some amazing work that you can do as well on yourself. You can go to my website. I put it out there. I put it in the descriptions below because I can't even say it all the way. But you can get it from there as well. You know, my thing is when people look at me and they say, Nyomi, you ain't busting it open no more. Yeah, I'm busting it open. I'm busting it open with, you know, self-help books. I'm busting it open with, you know, teaching people how to love themselves. That's how I'm busting it open. And if you don't want that type of busting it open from me, I thank you for the fanship that you have been with me thus far. But we have now turned the page and we are in a whole nother book. All right. So again, I thank you all. If you guys have any letters that you want, any advice for, you know what it is. It's info@asknyomi.com. Yeah. I can't tell you too much more because I want to make sure that everything is going to go through before I say anything else. But I am truly excited about this season as we continue to elevate even more. elevate it even more. Dog Pound Mike.
We all good.
Thank you. Do you got any last words for anybody out here?
Well, we back to work and we loving it, and there's gonna be more stuff to come.
More stuff to come. More stuff to come. All right, and as I always say, be good to one another in yourselves, and always keep it sexy. I'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.
Hey, it's the goddess Naomi Banks, and I hope you enjoyed that last episode of Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap. And if you did, please like, subscribe, press that notification button, as well as comment. I'll see you next week. Keep it sexy.
Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap. This is where we talk about love, sex, relationships, cultural differences, and so much more.